Thank you so much for tuning in. This is the first episode of the Elvira Guzman Show. I'm Elvira, I'm going to be your host, and to my right, I have Gabe Rowland, Grammy-nominated and musical genius. Everyone give it up for him. So I just seen on your social media that you just got back from Australia. How was it?
It was incredible. Jet lag like crazy, but Australia is all that. You gotta go. You gotta check it out.
Wonderful. Well, I'm gonna have to go for sure. Yes. Well, if some of you don't know why someone like me would potentially get a show, I want to share a little bit about me. So at the age of 18, my first semester in college, I ended up getting an internship at the #1 radio station in Los Angeles. And at that time, SteveHarvey happened to be the morning show drive person. And so when I would go to the radio station, I would see the people that worked at the radio station, and they dressed okay. They had okay cars. But when I would see SteveHarvey and his team come in, oh my gosh, they were dressed to the T's. They had the nicest cars, and I said, how can I get a job with that man? And so what I ended up doing is I would go to my internship 2 hours early, and I would leave 2 hours late, and I would do all of the little things that needed to happen, like get coffee or get them breakfast or sort through the mails. And when my internship was over, I wrote SteveHarvey a letter just telling him thank you for everything that he had done for me at that moment, basically showing me that there's another way to life than to have regular jobs where you just don't feel any passion in there. And to my surprise, he gave me a job that day. And for the next 9 years, I worked with him and I helped him develop radio shows, TV shows, films, award shows. And during that time, I was like, well, what am I gonna do? And so I decided to start ElvieGPR, and for the last 10 years, I've been representing celebrities, radio stations, companies, and now it's time for me to develop my dreams. So thank you once again for being here for the very first episode. I'm really excited. So on today's show, we're gonna have comedian Ron G come out and he's gonna do a comedy set. We have Hollywood's top fitness and nutrition instructors. They're gonna come and teach us how to get our ideal body. We're gonna have a talent search, and to end our show, we're gonna take questions from the audience for our Ask Elvie segment. Our first guest on today's show, you guys might recognize him from NBC's Last Comic Standing or MTV's Punk'd. Everyone, please put your hands together for Ron G.
Yeah! Party people, I need y'all to make some noise. Y'all look quiet, I need y'all to make some noise. Turn it up. Hey, one more time for your host, Elvira Guzman, everybody. Show us some love. In this phase of my life, I am ready to settle down and get married. That wasn't the funny part. Okay, I don't have nobody in mind yet, but on the inside, I feel like I'm ready to get married. That's the crazy part. I want to get married, but I'm scared, because I don't know any happily married people. Real, like, you ever ask an unhappily married person what it's like being married? It started out as an explanation, then it turned into a cry for help. You ever try that? I was like, yo, what is it like being married? He's like, hey, hey, take your time. You hear me? You better take your time. You better have all the fun you can right now. You hear me? Hey, let me tell you something. Marriage is work. I'm like, oh my God, really? Because my question is, I need to know if it's office work or construction work. That's what I need to know. I'm not putting no tool belt on to go home. This is how you can tell somebody's happily married. All you gotta do is ask them how long they've been married. It's a sound that's gonna slip out before they start talking. I was like, yo, how long have you been married? He was like, I was like, construction work, I don't want no parts of that. And this is how I knew he didn't like his wife. I was like, do you like your wife? He was like, I love my kids. You hear me? I love my kids. I was like, what? I was like, but do you like your wife? Hey, without my kids, I am nothing. That's all you need to know. I'm like, ugh. And the problem is nobody married their best friend. You gotta marry your best friend. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like I wanna like my wife. Love is mandatory. I wanna like her too. Like, you ever see somebody, like I got a homie, clearly he married the wrong person. Because every time we hang out, all he do is talk about his wife and what she do. He's like, man, but this is the funny part. Before he say something about her, he gotta check his phone. He was like, hey man, you know she had the nerve when I was asleep, she used my thumbprint to open my, hold on a second. Thought my phone was on. She had the nerve to tell me. I'm like, what? I tell you what's the worst. You ever go to a wedding you don't believe in? Anybody had that moment yet? I need y'all to talk. Anybody had that moment yet? Isn't it uncomfortable? It's like watching a train wreck happen in slow motion. You like, no. I recently went to a wedding that my friend invited me to. This is how I knew they wasn't gonna make it. I can tell they wasn't gonna make it by the wedding invitation. For real, they sent me a wedding invitation. It was like, please come turn up with us on our wedding day. I'm like, oh my God. It was a text message. I'm like, you gonna send me a mass text message? I was like, turn up and wedding should never be in the same sentence. I was like, please put me down for -1 and delete my number. I'm not going to make it. And this is the crazy part. When people are not supposed to get married, you can tell because God throws signs. I was at the wedding. I feel like God was throwing signs like Cam Newton. Nobody caught him but me. God was like, deception, on 2. Hut, hut. I got it, God. They're not going to make it, right? So this is the crazy part. This is when I knew they weren't going to make it. First of all, it was at a place called Lake Lanier. It's an hour outside Atlanta, right? Prettiest day ever. It was Lake Lanier, green grass, tall trees, blue skies. Beautiful day. The bride and groom held hands. A cloud came over, and it started raining on the spot. God was like, sign, right? So then the pastor, first of all, I don't know, they got him from Craigslist or what. He was the worst pastor ever. He referred to himself as your boy. He was like, now let me tell you something. I've been doing weddings for a long time, and I know love when I see love. God be talking to your boy. I'm like, what? God was like, sign. Now, this one I fell out. The pastor forgot the groom's name. I'm like, this dude he grew up in your church. His mama been paying his tithes since the 80s. And you can't remember his name? He was like, now do you, Ferrari, take, come on, don't tell me. I'm like, what? God was like, sign. Now this one I fell out. The microphone went out while he was doing the vows. I'm like, this is a moment you can't get back. You got a camera crew? Let's pause it, fix the mic, keep going. He kept going. He was like, now do you, take Ferrari, before God, and all these witnesses, I wouldn't do it, say I do. I'm like, what? God was like, sign. This is when I fell out. There was a party boat that came by while he was doing the vows. All you hear is, these hoes ain't loyal. Dab. That's my time, y'all. Run, Chi. God bless you. Thank you.
We'll be right back. Welcome back. That was outstanding.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So tell me a little bit about how you went from finance to doing your first joke on stage.
I call it the quarter life crisis. You go to school for something, and then when you get in the real world, you realize you hate doing it, but your heart tells you something different. And I got fired from every job I ever had. I did. I got fired from the temp service. My name tag wasn't dropped. It's not funny, Gabe. And then my cousin was a comic in Atlanta. He was like, dude, you hilarious. You ever thought about getting on stage? And I went on stage at a place called Uptown Comedy Club in Atlanta, Georgia. Got on stage and got booed and fell in love.
What do you mean? Like after you got booed, you weren't just like, forget it, this isn't for me?
Well, the boo wasn't the bad part. The part that was bad, they told me to kill myself. That's the part that did some. Let me say something. Boo is okay. I can handle boo, but somebody stood up and was like, hey man, kill yourself. Kind of uncomfortable. And but for some reason, man, like I'm an athlete, so you know I play sports growing up, so I'm very competitive.
Yeah.
And I just stuck with it, and I just figured this thing out and fell in love, and I'm here now.
So how did your parents take it? Were they just like, oh my gosh, he's crazy, he's leaving his like corporate job?
Well, my mama, she didn't care. She's like, as long as you pay your bills, I don't care. Because I called my mom the first time I performed. I was like, hey mom, I got booed last night. But she was like, did boo pay you? I was like, no. She's like, you better pay that student loan. But anyway, at first she didn't necessarily get it, but now my mama's my biggest fan, man. She's such a great support system, and it's always cool to have your parents support you, you know, support your dreams, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I read that you were a finalist on NBC's Last Comic Standing.
Yeah, man,
How
that was like
that?
my biggest TV show performance. It was in Vegas. It was millions and millions of viewers. It was a lot of fun, and I learned a lot about myself. And the cool thing about doing major TV is when you go to the comedy clubs, you don't have to explain yourself anymore. You know, like
Yeah,
it
that
really
must be
does help.
nice.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about how you got the show Punk'd on MTV.
Oh man, so I got a random audition. They had me come in, and I had the longest audition ever. Normally an audition is like 2-3 minutes, and they bring you back a couple of rounds. But my man Jason, who's one of the creators of the show, he had me come in, and I auditioned for like an hour straight.
An hour audition?
An hour,
Wow.
yeah. And I'm like doing characters and stuff, going in and out of characters and telling stories. And he was like, dude, this has never happened before, but I hired you on one audition. Because Punk just like 4 or 5, you know, rounds of auditioning. And he was like, I've never seen anybody hold a room that long. And so it was fun, man. It was a lot of fun.
Wow, exciting. So, but what was that transition like? You working at Bank of America, doing finance, and then did you just leave it all and say, I'm just gonna go do this? Or was there a time where you had to do both?
I got fired, and then pretty much the universe told me I shouldn't be doing this. But anyway, I kept doing comedy on the side, and like my first 8 months in comedy, I got my first standing ovation, and I knew I had something. And I was actually going to quit because I was living the dream. Like the American dream is you go to school, you get a job, you get married, you make babies, you retire, and you die.
Yeah.
And I was trying to do that, but it didn't work out, and I was in this really bad relationship, and it fell apart. And I asked God, I was like, God, look, man, I'm good at a lot of stuff, but I'm not great at nothing. If you can help me figure this thing out, like I'll do whatever you want, man. And so I felt like God, he opened doors. I wound up performing at a place called the Laugh Factory, a place called a show called Chocolate Sundays, which I host now. I performed my first time there, and it's like a year waiting list. And I came to LA visit, and I said, God, if you give me 3 things, I'll leave. I said, if you help me sell my house, you help me find a job, because I was unemployed the whole time, and then if you get my pastor's blessings, I'll move. And then my pastor blessed me. He was like, go. I sold my house, and I got a job over the phone in LA, like in 2 weeks, and they held it for like 3 months. And when I got here, I didn't know anybody here, so I came here to visit, met with my frat brothers. He was like, what you doing here? I was like, I got a job in Culver City. I said, I'm trying to find a place to stay. He was like, that's crazy, because I just bought a place in Culver City. He said, you can stay with me, I won't even charge you half. And it was a mile away from where my job was. And I didn't know nobody, so I just felt like God opened doors, and I'm supposed to be here.
So do you think that because you weren't really doing your purpose, that's why you were getting fired, and now that you actually are doing your calling, God is opening all the doors?
Absolutely. It's kind of hard to be an accountant when you're silly. Nobody trusts you with their money when you're silly. And the universe kind of told me, hey, look, I don't think this is what you're supposed to be doing, but with comedy, I can't see myself doing anything else. If I wasn't doing comedy, I'd probably be a great school teacher. You know what I'm saying? I'd be hilarious. Like, oh, you make learning fun, Mr. G. I'll be a hilarious school teacher, but I can't see myself doing anything else. And the cool thing about when you follow your purpose, like a lot of other things come out of it. Like I'm an actor, I do voiceovers, I've traveled the world, I do public speaking. I've done so much cool stuff just because I'm in the right path. Even you and I met on the radio show I do. And I'm like, I do radio show hosting too. And all this stuff came out of me seeing this light that God showed me, and I walked toward the light. But the crazy part is, I felt like if God told me I had to go through everything I'm going through to become who I am now, I probably wouldn't do it.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So he spoon feeds you what you can handle, and you have those little successes. You're like, okay, I can do this. Okay, I can do this. So I'm here, and I love what I do, and I know part of my purpose is to touch these kids and let them know that you can do what you love for a living and not compromise. So that's it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. I know that there's a lot of people that move to Hollywood to make it.
Yeah.
What are some tips or some advice that you would give to them? For example, like if they were to get on stage and they get booed, what would you tell them to keep going? Because 8 months later, you got a standing ovation, but most people wouldn't go past that boo.
Well, comedy is a marathon. You can't just get on stage and be funny. It's nothing to be funny at the family reunion or the break room. But comedy is like, you got to learn your craft. Like, honestly, you learn so much about yourself doing comedy, and a lot of the great comedians are people that work on personal growth. And for me, personal growth was important. Like, I won't even date anybody if they don't work on themselves. You know, this is just how I am people, or my thing is people. I can't date them because I force myself to work on myself. And the crazy part is, in comedy, you have to step into things that are uncomfortable in order to be great at it. Like, I like performing for people that don't look like me. Like, because I could, easily be an urban comic and perform for people that look like me. But I recently went to London last weekend and I bombed. Kind of funny because I did a joke about marrying your best friend. And I performed in this town called Leicester, and the whole town was Indian. So they do a lot of arranged marriages, and the whole crowd flipped on me. I was like, I want to marry my best friend. They was like, why? And I was like, because that's what you do. And they was like, no, you married for money. And I was like, what? And the whole crowd felt the same way. And this lady got mad. She walked out, and I was like, it's not my fault you married the wrong person. Like, I want to marry somebody I actually like and want to talk to. And it got weird. I'm like, all my jokes was about relationships, and none of them related because it's business, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But again, that's another teachable moment, because sometimes in comedy, you win by losing. So that's another moment where I have a story. I just made y'all laugh by telling my junk. Now, when it happened, it was uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It was awkward, and I'm like, I don't even know where to go from here, because all I talk about is relationship stuff, But again, it's a teachable moment. And again, in life, I feel like when you fail, you learn a lot about yourself, because if you're winning all the time, you're not learning.
Yeah, I agree. Now, I know that when we went to lunch the other day, you were telling me about an experience that you had when you were filming MTV's Punk'd. I know.
You want me to talk about it?
Yes, tell everybody what happened. I think that everyone could learn from that.
Okay, we got time. So, we live in a time where I feel like the country's kind of racially divided, and, there's a huge injustice happening with minorities and cops or whatever. And so 2 weeks before Sandra Bland died, 2 weeks after Sandra Bland died, we was punking Karuchi, which is Chris Brown's old girlfriend, if y'all know who she is. And so the prank was, I was going to be the driver. We were going to pick her up from downtown LA and take her to the club Greystone, which is in Hollywood. Long drive down Olympic, right? And what's going to happen was we was going to pull over at the gas station. I was going to have paparazzi harass her at the hotel, pull over at the gas station, check my meters or whatever, go inside the gas station. Paparazzi was going to show up again. I was going to come out and choke him, throw him on the ground, put a sandbag under the truck and drive off so she think I ran him over, right? So paparazzi harasses her at the hotel. We get to the gas station like 3 miles down. I go inside the gas station. The producers are like, hey, paparazzi's out, come outside. So I come outside, I see paparazzi filming her at my truck, right? I look Karuchi in the eyes and I was like, shh. I grab the guy, throw him on the ground. As I do that, the real cops show up with guns blazing. Not like, what are you doing? I got a suit on because I'm a driver. They show up with guns blazing like, get on the ground. And it's the most uncomfortable thing ever because as a black man, you know, hey, you know what I'm saying? I had 3 guns at me at the same time. And for me, like I never had a gun pulled on me before. So this is like happening real time on TV being recorded. And they were like, get you on the ground. And I'm like, oh shoot, and I sit there and they separate me and the guy from the moment. And Karuchi don't know what's happening. And then the cops come behind me and I can feel the gun behind my head. And I'm like getting ready to cry. And if you see the footage, I'm shaking. Cause you know, I'm normally pretty high energy or whatever. I'm sitting here like, all right, all I know is every time I watch a video when somebody gets shot, they talk back to the cops. So I am quiet. I'm like, hey, sir. I'm like, excuse me, your righteousness. I'm calling him everything, like, savior, whatever you want me to call you, sir. I got my hands up. And anyway, producers, I'm telling them like, yo, this is not cool. And it's like, tell your producers to come here. And it's like, yo, the producer's like, yo, tell them to come to the truck. I'm like, look, they got a gun on me. If you don't get your butt out here. So they came out and it was like, yo, it's a TV show. We just filming. And, you know, everything's cool. And they was like, well, it didn't look right. You know what I'm saying? So I'm still like, I didn't even process what happened. And so I get back in the truck and I drive and we pull over and we punk Karuchi and everybody's laughing. And when I dropped her off, I cried my eyes out, man. Because as a human being, you just have those moments. Because all I can think about is, please let me tell my mom bye. You know what I'm saying? Like, for me to come out here and pursue my dreams and I can't tell my mom bye, you know what I'm saying? And I lose my life filming something that, you know, makes the world happy. It was very unfortunate, but I'm glad I can actually tell the story because it is a huge influx of, you know, cops profiling people, you know, and not giving me the benefit of doubt because of the color of my skin, because he could have stopped and easily asked what's happening versus like showing up with guns and asking questions later, because I could have lost my life and I couldn't have been here. But I'm grateful that I'm still alive. I'm grateful I had a chance to do the show. I learned a lot about myself, and I'm real big on like just, it's not cool to profile people because the color of their skin. Like if you're racist, if you're racist, you don't want to go to heaven. Because ain't no all white heaven or all black heaven. Like it's everybody, you know, everybody gets allowed to heaven. So I'm just very grateful, man. And I love what I do.
Well, I'm so glad that you
Was
made
that too
it.
deep? Was that too deep?
No.
Okay, all right. Okay, cool.
Because I'm sure that a lot of us have experienced something, not as to that extent, but we've experienced a little bit.
Yeah.
So as always, it's such a pleasure to spend time with you.
Absolutely.
Thank you for being here today.
And congrats on your show, man. This is awesome, man.
Thank you.
Show her some love, everybody.
Thank you, guys. All right, we'll be right back after these messages. Every year, over 100,000 people move to Hollywood just to make it. So we decided to do a talent search so that we could give people a shot to have a platform right here so that they could get discovered. So everyone, please welcome our first contestant, Chris Pree. Welcome to the show. Tell us a little bit about you.
You want me to hold it or? Okay, well, how you guys doing? My name is Chris Pree. I'm a sophomore here at UCLA. I'm a theater major, acting track. I'm originally from Washington, D.C. I came out here because I knew that this is the only place, well, the best place to be, given that I sing and act, so, yeah.
Wonderful. So what are you going to perform for us today?
Well, I have a sneak peek of two different songs. One's just a short one. It's called Misunderstanding, and the other one's called In the Moment.
Wonderful. Everyone give it up for Chris Pree.
Let me be the calm to your nerves. I know your soul is aching. Heart is out of control. This love, you can't contain it. Try and frame it, baby. It'll slip through the cracks in a minute. And your thoughts bottled up get diminished. All because of feeling, all because you really didn't listen. Happened so fast, 30 seconds to a minute. Mind saying no, but you got a different feeling. I was chilling down your spine, reminiscing. Can't even wrap it around your mind, still drifting. In the past where the present seems distant. So once upon a time came to its ending. While they drift back and find a new beginning. Start worrying and twisting. Covers will end up missing. Those are the rules. Move on and cope if they not in it. Cause sometimes it seems right, but it feels so wrong, baby. Let me be the calm to your nerves. I know your soul is aching. Heart is out of control. This love, you can't contain it. Try and frame it, baby. It'll slip through the cracks in a minute. And your thoughts bottled up get diminished. That was Misunderstanding. That's just a sneak peek of it. Thank you, thank you. My next song, this is called In the Moment. And these songs are based off actual events. I write and I compose all these myself. This ain't nothing what you used to. I know I've been a jerk trying to use you. I gotta tell the truth, baby, who knew? I get caught up in the moment and confuse you. A little out of line, baby, so rude. To my defense, I was really acting normal. And I'll admit, my thoughts were kinda social. Was about to speak, but I chose to keep my mouth closed. I had enough, I'm fed up. Feelings hurt, you messed up. So we talk fess up. Took a breath, let up. Cause in the moment I lost control, lost control, lost control. Cause in the moment I lost control, lost control, lost control. Cause in the moment I lost control, lost control. Cause in the moment I lost control. Ease your mind, take your time. Yeah, listen to these words. Press rewind, slow it down. Match my grind, cause you give me butterflies. Inside, inside, inside. Yeah, you give me butterflies. Inside, inside, and cause in the moment I lost control, lost control, lost control. Cause in the moment I lost control, yeah. Cause in the moment I lost control, lost control, lost control. Cause in the moment I lost control, baby. But I know I'm gone, I know I'm done, but I still ain't make it home. To my surprise, I'm not alone. Right by my side, next to my throne, my queen, she lays on the roof, and in our eyes we spoke the truth. Passion lit, touch our fuse, I'm feeling good, girl, be my muse. In the moment, I'm feeling good, girl, be my muse. In the moment, cause in the moment I lost control, lost control, lost control. Cause in the moment I lost control.
That was fantastic. Thank you so much. That was fantastic. I'm going to introduce our next contestant, Patrick Amelo. Welcome. Tell us a little bit about you. What year are you in here at UCLA?
Hi. I don't know if I'm supposed to be touching this or not, but hi, I am Patrick Amelo. I am a fourth-year student here at UCLA and getting ready to get out of here and on to the real world.
Wow. So what are you planning to do when you graduate?
Me, I want to, get a nice little steady job, probably putting on events across LA or going to film industry and then pursuing music all the way. That's what I want to do.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
So what are you going to perform for us today?
I'm going to switch it up, actually. I'm going to do some a cappella versions of one of my songs, If I Ruled the World, and then I'm going to do a quick little freestyle.
Very nice. All right, everyone give it up for Patrick and Amelo.
Thank you. Well, before I get started, I'm going to need a little bit of help from the crowd just to help me sing along with this. When I say, if I ruled the world, I need y'all to say, if I ruled the world, okay? If I ruled the world. 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 Would expand our reach from the moon man to the Martians, make peace between the Zimmerins and the Martins, a world where we're all seen on the same spectrum, not what you can take, but what you can go and get them. Chill with Chinese and Russians down in Mongolia, transport dystopians into a new utopia, rid of paranoia and all the other ill thoughts, maybe even let the gangsters go and chill with the cops. Well, let me rethink that. You know you can't predict how gangsters will react. Back to discussion, invite some more loving. Racing for love is the only time my people running. Back in action, rewrite the laws of attraction. Less damage and spasm, encouragement of abstraction. Time for relaxing, excitement from distraction. No metro, standardization for an Aston. Love is still passing from River down to Saxon. Good times, good thoughts, and good call to get a laughing. Asking the past man to see where we were wrong. And the answers embedded into the cinematic song. If I ruled the world. 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 Thank you. Message to the Rockefeller, this young fella is coming for that stone cold distorted eye of Providence that should have saw me coming way before a damn recording, and probably when mom was raised down in New Orleans. Hypnotized by a darn dollar in a dream, I dreamt the dollars, big lights, and comfort queens. Born bred tyrant, decided on music. Ranked degree with no dang intention to use it. Most scholars wouldn't even bother to see the administered sinister pains bothering me. But hip-hop came and then parted the seas. These rap songs played the role of father for me. Now I'm in the limelight cause I rhyme tight. Imagine sleeping through the gunshots at night. Awakened by the sound of tamales. Buttered up corn, I miss the good days. Now I'm on a trek for respect and profits. A cartouche with fast cars and more outfits. And now swing for the fence, good kid with mad wits. Quick draw tongue with bars like Auschwitz. And as I enter my 20s, prepare for harsh realities. More casualties and these cops harassing me. Government taxing me and living unhappily. I got one simple goal. And that's for all of my youth to get a college degree. Thank you.
That was great. Thank you so much. Do the last one now?
Yeah, I'm game tight.
So now I'm going to introduce our final contestant. Everyone, please put your hands together for Chantel. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Tell us a little bit about you.
Well, I'm a first-year theater major here at UCLA. I'm so glad to be here. I just came to want to share my art with you guys. Thank you for having me on the show.
Of course, you're first year. So are you from LA or did you come from another state?
Yeah, I've lived in LA all my life, born and raised. But I just want to travel. I just want to get out of here, really. Just explore the world.
So are your parents super excited you made it into one of the top schools?
They really are. They're really proud. They like to tell people. We went to Sephora the other day. My mom's like, you know, my daughter go to UCLA. I'm like, Mom, I know. Like, I bet they know. But they're really proud.
Does she have a little sticker on the back of her car that says, my daughter goes to UCLA?
Not yet. That's very surprising.
Well, now you know what to get her. So tell us what you're going to perform for us today.
Well, today I'm going to be performing my song called Daydreams. I hope you guys like it. It's a Minnie Rupertson sample for all the oldies out there. So I hope you guys like it.
Fantastic. Everyone, please put your hands together for Chantel.
Yeah. This my life story. I dream about the day when I can bask in all the glory, defying every label in a single category. I wonder what my life would have been without music. Born with a mic, I had to use it, not just for the money or respect, just trying to change a life with every chance that I get. Now I stand tall with my head up high, Kendrick mentality, I'm a pimp to these butterflies. Mama always told me not to live life fast, but what's life going forward if your foot ain't on the gas? Doing 90 on the highway, windows down, got the sun in the sky and it's shining on my crown. That means that I'm a queen, you better believe. I always think of heaven in my daydreams. Look up at the sky and the clouds are all white. I keep this song on replay, this must be what it sounds like. I'm on the road to success, introduction to the chronic life, never for the stress. I swear I got some stories of the ones who take it straight to the chest, getting caught up in some mess, and now I pray for the best. Yeah, I want it all and the world ain't enough. Reminisce about the good days when times get rough. I got some 808s through an IV to my veins. My heartbeat is looking like a sound wave. This next bar is word to a poet that I heard, always so slick with the words. Now peep this, maybe Jesus was all talk. Jesus never needed no Adidas to walk. I call my homies from the hood, but they outlined the chalk. And you wonder why I'm never on the block. Trying to stay safe, get this, stay away from evil. Trying to live a life so peaceful, plan to build a kingdom, have a steady income, learning from the ones who got a vast amount of wisdom. Yeah, I wanna be a good mother and good wife, and still have my mind be as sharp as a knife. Yeah, I'm trying to rise to the top. I'm doing me and I ain't never gonna stop. Life is just a play, you gotta go through every scene. Eyes wide open, but I can still dream. Thank you.
Yeah, woo! That was really great. Thank you so much. Can all of the contestants please come back out? All right, we're gonna get ready to make a decision. We're gonna do this Apollo style. Gabe, come and help me, please. All right, so when Gabe puts his hand over the contestant that you enjoyed the most, make sure that you make the most noise. The winner is gonna win Beats by Dr. Dre. Alrighty, everyone put your hands together for Chris. Alrighty, Patrick. And Chantel. Wow. Okay, I'm thinking it's between, what do you think, Gabe? Okay, take a step forward. Alrighty, one more time. Everyone give it up for Patrick. Chris. Sorry. All right, everyone give it up for Chris. All right. Give it up for Chantel. All right, I think we have our winner. Congratulations, Chantel. You're gonna get a pair of Beats by Dr. Dre, but don't worry, nobody goes home a loser. Make sure that you have a good dinner tonight.
Hey, thank you so much.
All right, thank you guys. We'll be right back after these messages. Welcome back. If you're like me, you want to get your ideal body, but you just may not have a lot of time. But don't worry, that's why I have fitness and nutrition experts Obi Abadike and Dawn Strozier here. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
Of course. So tell me a little bit about what are some foods that we can eat on the go to give our body what we really need?
Okay, when it comes to having the body that you desire, 80% of what you do is what you put in your mouth. So the biggest mistake we make is we miss breakfast. Because we're busy, we're on the go. So this is my best friend. This here allows me to get the breakfast I need if I don't have time to cook as I'm on the go. So there's my protein. So this allows me to put protein in here, mix it with a little bit of water, shake it up, and I have my breakfast. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day, wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. The reason why it's the most important meal of the day because it's a big portion of your breakfast has to have carbs.
Yes.
And you need to have energy to be able to function throughout the day. So if you don't have any carbs, you're almost like a zombie. That's why you should never miss breakfast whatsoever. And we obviously, you got these beautiful, colorful things here.
Yes.
Why don't you talk to us about
One of my favorite breakfasts is an egg white omelet. It allows me to get all the nutrients I need. So egg white omelet, I use eggs, I use bell peppers, all the colors, onions, broccoli. These are antioxidants to help your body fight free radicals that keep us from being healthy. I put tomatoes in it, and good fats is important.
Absolutely.
Good fat is important because it helps your body to release bad fat. But again, when you're on the go, and when you're in a hurry and you can't do this, you have a food in a bottle.
Elvira, a great nutrition tip that I always share with people is that at least half of your meal should have at least fruits and veggies. If you can just think that, have that in your head, you'll never go wrong whatsoever. So obviously we got the bananas, we got the strawberries. You never go wrong with that stuff.
And Don, can you teach everyone about the importance of having 5 to 6 small meals a day versus having 2 to 3 big meals? I know when I was working with you back in the day with SteveHarvey, that was actually his biggest mistake because his complaint was that he worked too much, he didn't have time for 6 meals a day, and this woman came in and put him in shape and made him 50 and fly, and she taught me how to eat too. So I want you to teach everyone about that.
It's really important. Eating more frequently throughout the day allows your metabolism to stay at an all-time high. So it kind of looks like this. If you eat at 7 o'clock, you're up, you're alive, your body's moving. 7 o'clock, right? 7:15, 7:30. 8 o'clock, go to sleep. You eat again, it wakes up, it's alive. 9 o'clock, 9:15, 9:30, goes to sleep. You eat again, it's up, it's moving, it's alive. So what happens is when you retrain your sluggish metabolism to eat every 2.5, every 3 hours, your body ends up staying at an even keel. So again, either carry your food with you. I have the perfect bag I carry with me. When I leave the house, I have all 3 of my meals there. I have my protein drink. I have my snacks. It keeps me eating on the go and giving my body the nutrients it needs to be successful.
And it's that's a great tip. It's so important to figure out a meal frequency that works for your body. Whether you have 6 meals or whether you have 2 to 3 meals, it doesn't matter, and it's not going to affect your weight loss versus weight gain. So figure out a meal frequency for your work schedule, for your body, and just for the amount of time that you have, and you're good to go. Whether you get 2,000 calories in 3 meals or 6 meals, it doesn't really matter versus weight loss versus weight gain. So just figure it out for your
But let's
preference.
be honest, it's so hard to count calories. Are there like any apps or anything that you guys would recommend?
Any apps? You know what's so funny in terms of technology and stuff? I think the biggest thing is just portion size. That's the thing. People don't understand portion size. Smaller plates, making sure you're measuring your meals, okay? Weighing yourself, weighing your meals. Like I always look, for example, for a portion size is the palm of my hand. Not a Michael Jordan hand, by the way. I got some big hands.
Yeah, I was gonna say, your hand
but a
and my
good
hands
size.
are a lot different.
I actually got bigger hands than Donald Trump, actually. He talking about I got big hands. But anyway, you wanna look at your hands. You wanna make sure that your hands are it's a good size, and I look at it, my hands is basically portion size. So if I'm basically making some oatmeal or I'm making some fruits or some veggies or whatever, if I put it in my hand, that's considered a portion size.
Because remember, counting calories isn't realistic to life. So whatever you do, you want to make it so that it's realistic, something that you can do. So measuring the palm of your hand or a clenched fist, we can all do that, right? We can do that and keep moving.
Yeah. So let's talk about what we all want to know is how do we get abs like you guys? Do we have to work out all day, every day?
The thing about it is that people think that abs is about doing 1,000 crunches a day, and that's just not true. Like all of the things that we're doing, all of the things that we're talking about here is so important to get the abs because abs are not made. They're not made in the gym. They're actually made in the kitchen. You can't reduce your body. You're not going to reduce your body fat levels doing 1,000 sit-ups.
For nothing?
No, they're fine. They're fine. You're building muscle, but you're also building muscle underneath the hibernation of fat. And the only way to melt the fat is through eating healthy foods and also doing a total body circuit training to help you reduce your body fat levels.
Makes sense. So now if we're on the go, we have school, we're a single mom, we have a lot to do. What are some simple exercises that we could do in our office or in the car?
You want to walk over here and show you some stuff?
I came prepared.
You want that? Okay, I'm going to show you some simple exercise, some great body weight exercises, is high knees, okay? High knees is just very, very simple. It's almost like you're running track like you were Usain Bolt, and it's just like this, okay? And this is a really great ab exercise just right here. You're moving your arms. You do this for about 15, 20, 30, about 20, 30 seconds, just like this, pump them up, okay? All right, so that's the first exercise you can do. Another exercise you can do is called jumping to the side, all right? It's a very simple exercise, just like this. Okay, using your arms. Jumping to the side. It's a good cardiovascular exercise. Nice plyo exercise. All right, just like that. Very simple. All right?
As you can see, I'm not going this fast. It's okay. It's okay.
So another exercise we can do is mountain climbers. Dawn, she's shown me that. And you're going to get down on the ground just like this. All right, get down.
Come on, Elvira.
Let's do it.
Make sure your feet are together. and it's almost like you're almost like cycling, just like this, okay? Just like that. Okay. All right. Moving.
Oh, I can feel it already.
Forward, all right? You got that? All right, and take your time with it. You don't have to go too fast, just like this. And I guarantee you do this about 20 to 30 seconds, you're gonna really, really feel it. Great cardiovascular exercise. Make sure you're breathing, inhale and exhale. Go ahead, Don.
If you don't want to mountain climb, you can hold a plank. Tell them about holding
Absolutely, go ahead. Show us that.
Holding the plank,
You can hold the plank.
tightening your abs,
Right.
and your quads and your glutes, squeezing, putting your mind into your muscle.
And
Believe it or not,
and by the way,
a whole lot's happening right now.
by the way, if you can't do a plank, not everyone can do a plank. This is the modified version for someone that can't do a plank. All right, and you're still working.
I could do that one.
And then you can gradually build up to that. So there's always a modification to any exercise you do. Another great exercise is doing old-fashioned push-ups. Not everybody can do push-ups. All right, we're in a plank position. All of a sudden, you put all your weight on your arms just like this. Go all the way down, all the way up. If you can't do that, then you do. People call them the female version. I don't like calling them that because I think that's sexist. It's a modified version push-ups. You get on your knees just like this, and you go all the way down and all the way up. And this works your triceps.
Open your hands
This works
a
your
little
chest.
Yes.
All right, just like that, all the way
There
down,
you go.
and then all the way up, just like
Perfect.
that. Perfect. All right. So those are exercises you can do. You really don't have to go to a gym to get in phenomenal shape. All right. I'm already breathing hard already. These are some simple exercises you can do. I'd say no more than, if you can exercise a minimum of 30 minutes a day, 3 times a week, you're good. The American Heart Association.
3 times a week, that's
Three
it?
times, minimally, minimum, not
Oh my
minimally.
gosh.
The American Heart Association recommends that for a healthy heart.
Right.
So
Wow.
it's, yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, so one last thing.
I'm
I know
not saying if you do 3 times, you're gonna look like me and look like her. But you know what? You started somewhere, right?
So I know a lot of people are trying to get their gluteus maximus
Right.
to get
Everyone wants the
built.
booty.
Yes.
Right? Don, what's a good exercise to do, like when you're in the office or whatever, to like
One
build
of the
that
best
area?
simple exercise is squatting. Squatting will do it. Squatting, sitting back into your heels, glutes as low to the ground as you can, coming forward, bring your hips forward on the way up. Squatting back, sitting into your heels, coming up, pulling your feet forward. Now notice when I'm sitting back as though I'm going to sit in the chair. And then I'm coming forward, my hips are coming forward. That's one of the best exercises you can do. And when you can put some weights in your hand and do it, that's how you build your glutes.
Ooh.
Put some weights in your
Okay.
hand and squat. Sit back, come forward, and up.
Did you hear my knees? I know, this ain't for you.
Another great exercise is same thing. It's another squat position, but it's called squat stance.
Yeah.
Where you're just basically gonna go in a squat position, and now you're just gonna hold it just like this.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
And how
Just try.
long?
I'll say about 30 seconds.
we go.
Just hold it. Just hold it like this. And when you hold it, you're gonna feel this right in your core because everything is engaging right now. Your quads, your hamstrings, your calves, and in your core. So right now, this is almost a total body workout, just holding it just like this. So yeah.
My
You guys
glutes
are in
working,
shape.
ladies.
Clearly, I'm not.
If you really want a butt, and you don't want to buy a butt, by the way, this is the exercise. These are exercises you can do.
Wonderful. Thank you guys so much for being here. I know I learned a lot. I hope you guys learned a lot too. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back. This is our Ask Elvie segment where I'm going to be taking questions from the audience regarding love, relationships, career path, and I'm going to do my best to give you the information that my mentors would give to me. So Gabe, who do you have out there?
All right, first thing we got, come stand on up there, love. Tell us your name and what are you studying?
My name's Linda Sue, and I'm studying business economics at UCLA.
What does that mean? I'm messing with you. What's your question?
So I've been dating this guy for 6 months, and when we're alone, he's really affectionate and loving. However, when we're in public, he will kind of ignore me and brush it off and act like we're just friends. Like one time I was at the supermarket with him. I tried to go in for a hug, and he just totally backed away. I'm trying to see if I'm being a bit too clingy, or should I talk to him about it? Should we break up?
Elvie, my man is playing on me and I don't know what to do. What should I do?
Exactly. The first thing that I would tell you is to really think about what he's bringing to the table. And if he's bringing more negativity than positivity, then that's sign number one that you don't need to be with that person. When you're in a relationship and you really love someone, you want to tell the world about them. You want to show them off to the world. So if at any moment someone is trying to hide you, the first thing you should think is because there's somebody out there that might have that same man. So what I would do is put on a piece of paper, see if this guy is really for you. And if, let's just say that there are more good things than bad things, then I would say have a conversation with him, let him know that you don't appreciate these things, let him know how it makes you feel when he does that, and hopefully he'll change, or you're gonna have your decision.
Hey, call me, okay? Thank you, Live. Thank you. All
All
right,
right, who else
ladies.
do you have out there, Gabe?
Let's get in formation. Stand on up. What's your name? Oh, hold on, wait for the mic. All right, what's your name?
My name is Kim,
What you studying?
economics. My question is that I'm starting to think college isn't really for me, and I'm considering dropping out, but I'm not really sure if I want to. And I was wondering if you could tell me how your college experience affected you in the long run.
Yeah.
Elvie, I'm wasting my parents' money and I don't know what to do. Help me out.
Okay, so the first thing is I would say whatever it is that you want to do in the future, sometimes you do need degrees and sometimes you don't. Obviously, if you want to be a doctor, school is not an option. You have to go. But let's just say, for instance, you want to be a business owner or you want to start to create shoes or whatever it is. You don't necessarily need several different degrees for that. All you should potentially do is to go seek out mentors who have already done what you plan to do, shadow them, work under them, and after you work for them for a few years and you feel like you have their model, then go off and do what it is that you want to do. So I guess my ultimate answer to you is school doesn't have to be for everyone, but I would say that it's a good starting point. For me, I have 2 degrees from USC, and although I'm not a criminal attorney or a judge, I will tell you that it helps me tremendously in business because now instead of having to send my contracts to an attorney and pay all kinds of money, I'm able to read my own contracts, I'm able to amend them, and all of that good stuff. So for me, education is always key, but it's not absolutely necessary. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Gabe, who else?
Yes. Do you have a question? I don't know where I'm going. Who's right here? All right, you right? Stand on up, and then I'll get you. What's your name? Where you from? And what you're studying?
My name is Lamar Greenwood. I'm from Chicago, Illinois, and I study sociology.
He's a socialist. He's a sociologist. What does that mean, dude?
I mean, you pretty much just study like the interaction of people in social settings. So
That was the best answer I've heard. All right, go ahead. What's your question for Elvira?
So my question is, so I really like this girl, right? And I want to take her out. However, I'm kind of balling on the budget. So I was wondering if you have any suggestions for a first date that doesn't break the bank.
Yeah, absolutely. I've gone on some really amazing dates that I'm sure didn't cost them anything because we went to the beach or we went to a nice park or something where you could do like a picnic. Dates don't have to be very expensive. What women really care about is, do you care? Are you paying attention to what I'm telling you that I like? Are you paying attention to things that maybe necessarily you don't like to do but you want to do for me? That's what we pay attention to. So it's not always about the money. It's more about your intentions with that person.
That was awesome. Her man isn't acting right. You can do that. Swoop in
Who else
on
you got,
in.
Gabe?
Oh, we got one more. What's your name? Where you from? And what you studying?
My name is Hannah. I'm from Corona, Southern California, and I'm studying European Studies.
She's studying Europe.
Nice.
Yeah.
What's your question?
I have a question. So my boyfriend, we've been together for 2 years, but he recently moved abroad, and he's become very distant, and he's tagged in a bunch of pictures with other girls, and I'm wondering if you have any advice for me.
I feel like the writing's on the wall, dude. Sorry.
My advice is break up, honey. I think everybody could see that coming. Long distance relationships just don't work. I remember when I was living in Atlanta and my boyfriend had to relocate to LA because he got a job opportunity. And the next 6 months were just complete chaos for me. And what ended up happening is we just had to separate because it was just too hard. And at the end of the day, you have, depending on what you do for a living, you want to have a person that's home, that's there, that's going to help you through difficult moments. You don't want someone that's 3,000 miles away that you could just FaceTime. So my advice to you is to find someone local and say adios.
That's Spanish for goodbye. Double major.
Thank you, guys. Do you have any more questions?
No, it's all good. Back to you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you guys so much for being here. It's a wrap. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you. Follow us on social media. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and use the hashtag The Elvira Guzman Show.